Today, we're covering 15 essential settings that every admin should change immediately on Windows Server 2025. These are the exact settings I change on every fresh server, whether it's a domain controller, file server, application server, or lab environment. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so the very first thing that I do on a fresh server installation is rename the server. I've already done this step and I've already promoted the server to domain controller, but it's fairly simple. So from the server manager, which again, we can always access the server manager by hitting our start menu. It's typically going to be pinned here. You could also just search for it. So server manager, we'll open that up and let's go over to the left where it says local server. We can see our computer name or our server name right here. And if I just simply click into this, I can change the computer name. Again, we're getting the message about domain controllers. This is what I just mentioned, but here we could rename our PC, rename our server, and then it would prompt us to restart. So this is the very first thing that I typically do. This is going to prevent headaches in DNS and Active Directory. Number 2 would be to assign a static IP address. We're still here in the local server on the server manager. I'm just going to click into Ethernet and we see our network connections here. I'll right click Ethernet and I'll hit properties. Okay, let's click into Internet Protocol version 4. By default, it will have an automatic IP address. We just want to set it to use the following IP address. And if you're not sure what to put for your static IP, we can always use the command prompt. So if I just type CMD in the run box, we can easily see ipconfig/all. So your router or DHCP server will give you an IP address that tells us the network interface, and then we can set our static IP accordingly. So I basically set mine to what I was automatically given. Now the IP address won't change. And then you can just set your subnet mask as what this says and your default gateway. A static IP is required for servers, so we never want to let DHCP assign a server address. Step number 3 is to schedule automatic updates. And this is pretty easy to do. One way is to access our settings, Windows key together with I. From our settings menu, let's go to Windows Update. All right, and then from here, we're going to go to Advanced Options. And then we can set our active hours here, which we can adjust automatically, or we can set manually based on what works for our server. All right, so we've set our active hours. I want to get me up to date, so I'm going to switch this on, and I'm just going to turn basically all these on. All right, and now we've configured it so that the updates will run, but they won't interrupt users. And so, we could set this for overnight hours or a time that makes sense for you. For the next thing, we're going to disable SMBv1. We can do this by searching Windows features. And that's going to bring us to a section in our control panel. Now, instead of the control panel, that actually brought us directly to the roles and features wizard, which is fine. Let's click through until we go down to features. And we want SMB 1.0/CIFS file sharing support unchecked. So if it's checked, uncheck it, and then we will apply those changes. Another thing we can do is enable SMB signing. This can help us to enhance our security. So we can access this from our run box. That's Windows key together with R. We're going to type secpol.msc and let's press enter. Okay, this is going to bring us to our local security policy. From here, we're going to navigate to security options, and that's under local policies. So security options, we're going to find Microsoft Network Server and Client. And then I'll show you guys the specific one that we need. If we drag the policy box, we should be able to see all of it. So we want digitally signed communications always, Microsoft Network Server. We also need the client. This one's the client. So it says not defined. We're going to change this to enabled. I'll select yes and I'll press OK. Now the other one should be Microsoft Network Server. And then again, always in parentheses, digitally signed communications. Double click. This one is already enabled, so we are good to go. And again, SMB signing protects against tampering, and Server 2025 handles the overhead much better than older versions. Next up, we want to secure remote desktop. Windows key and I together again. We actually see we have some updates here that we need to run. Next up, let's go back to settings and we're going to navigate to system and then remote desktop. We can see remote desktop is on. And what we want to do here is just make sure that the permissions are set correctly. So if I click remote desktop users, currently only administrator has access, which is what I want. If we have other users here or other groups, we want to make sure that we are intentional about that, and we never want to allow everyone or all authenticated users to RDP into a server. Now, if we wanted to take that a step further, this one is definitely optional, but we could change the RDP port. So the remote desktop port by default will be port number 3389. This is going to help us to reduce automated scans and bot attacks, potentially. It's an easy change. We'll type Windows key and R, and we're going to open the registry editor. So type regedit. We're going to find this under local machine, and then we'll go to system, current control set, control, and then terminal server, which is here. And we're then going to click Win Stations. Let me drag this out again. Terminal server, make sure to drop the arrow down under that. Win Stations, and then RDP/TCP. All right, so we're on this folder and we have these values right here. We're looking for one called port number. We can see it right here. It's a D-word value, port number. We're going to switch this to decimal view, and we're going to change the value from 3389 to something like 45329, and I'll press OK. So we've now changed the port number for remote desktop. Next up, we're going to open Windows Defender Firewall. So I'll just type in Windows Defender. We'll open that. And then under inbound rules, we want to disable any unneeded services. It's super easy to do that. We can right click and just click disable rule. So we just want to clean the rules to reduce unnecessary attack surface. Number 9 is to set up Windows Server backup. This is always a good idea. We'll go back into the server manager and let's go to add roles and features once again to bring up our roles and feature wizard. We'll click through, selecting our server from the server pool. And this one is actually in features. So if we scroll down a little bit, here we can see Windows Server Backup, which I have installed. If you don't have it installed, you can check it, click add features, add the admin features, and then go ahead and install that. And once you install it, it'll actually be its own application. So we can type backup. We'll see Windows Server Backup come up. And then we've got this little configuration menu that we can use. So on local backup, we want to access the backup schedule, and then we can use this to configure regular backups, for example, daily backups. And then we can also choose whether we want full server or custom. So if I go down, I can set it to once a day starting at 9 p.m. And then I can back it up to a hard disk that is dedicated for backups, which is what they recommend. I'm running the server on a virtual machine, so I actually cannot do this to a physical drive at the moment, but you would essentially just hit next and then at the summary, click finish, and that would configure your backups. All right, guys, so for number 10, we're going to configure DNS forwarders. What we're going to do for this is we're going to type in DNS, and we can see DNS app. Let's enter that, and I'll make it full screen for you guys. And by configuring DNS forwarders, we're going to be able to speed up our name resolution and provide our server with some extra reliability. So we can see our server here. Let's right-click our server, and we'll hit Properties. Next, we'll see a Forwarders tab. Let's go in here, and we'll press Edit. All right, and then this is super easy. I'm just going to add a few servers. So I'll add 1.1.1.1. I'm also going to add 8.8.8.8. Lastly, I'm going to add my ISP DNS, which is 127.0.0.1. And then I'll press OK. We've added the DNS forwarders. I'll press Apply, and I'll hit OK. The next thing we want to show you guys is to disable IPv6 if we're not using it. In small business networks, IPv6 can cause more confusion than benefit. So if it's not being used, the recommendation is to simply disable. We're going to utilize our run box again. This time we're going to type ncpa.cpl. And that'll bring us back to where we were earlier inside of our network connections. Let's simply right click into Ethernet. And I've already made this setting in here, but you'll probably see this checked. And so we'll just simply uncheck it, and then we'll press OK. The next thing we're going to do is fix our time sync configuration. Active Directory breaks when time server drifts, and so we always want to configure our NTP manually. And to do this, it's very simple. I'll use the run box again. We'll enter our CMD, and we're going to leave a few commands in the description below so you can copy and paste. One of them is for domain controllers. That's the top one. The bottom one is for member servers. So we'll paste anyway, and we can see the command completed successfully. So that one's quick and easy. Let's move on to number 13. Now, number 13, this is more of a general tip, and this is to only install roles that you need. We don't necessarily want to install every role just because it's available. So instead of add roles or features, we're actually going to click remove roles and features. So this is a similar but separate wizard. And then we'll be able to, for example, I can uninstall DNS server. I can remove the features, which I don't want to do right now, but super easy and pretty much the same as the other wizard, but it's the opposite. And so the recommendation again is to just keep our roles and features as minimal as possible, only installing what's needed. Our next tip is to configure storage properly. So ideally, we want to use NTFS for just about everything. We want to use REFS only for backup volumes. And just to show you guys, in terms of configuring volumes, again, we can use the server manager and we can go to file and storage services here on the left-hand side. If you wanted to configure a new volume, you could go into the volume tab right here. And let's say I click on the C drive, I'll click new share, or I can click anywhere in here and click new volume. And I don't actually have sufficient space on my virtual disk, but the wizard is here. And again, just keep in mind the file format. Ideally, we're using NTFS for almost everything. The last tip that we have for you guys is to install BitLocker. So BitLocker, unlike Windows 11, is not actually installed as a role by default. So going back into our add roles and features menu, we should be able to find BitLocker drive encryption in the features. So click one more into features and we can see BitLocker drive encryption here. And I'm going to add these features and I'll click next. I'll click install. We're going to want to do this for data drives and backup drives, and we're going to want to save our recovery keys safely. And we recommend doing this if you have sensitive data on the drives. So we have to restart the server before we can actually enable this. So we will show you guys the rest of the steps here. A restart is pending. Okay, so I'll go ahead and restart the server. All right, so we're back in the server after the restart. And now from our start menu, we should be able to search for BitLocker. And we can see it coming up in the control panel. We'll simply press turn on BitLocker, and then we would follow the wizard here. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys because of the settings inside of my Hyper-V virtual machine. But if you're on a physical piece of hardware, you're not going to receive this message, and you can just turn on BitLocker and set your password. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have any questions about any of the settings we just changed in Windows Server, drop those in the comments below, and we'll get back with you as soon as we can. If you're interested in purchasing Windows Server, remote desktop licenses, Windows 10, Windows 11, Microsoft Office, or a wide variety of other Microsoft software at a great price, be sure to check out Indigo software. We'll have all the links down below. As our channel continues to grow, we're constantly looking for new video topic ideas. If you have any video topic ideas, we'd love to know what those are. Most viewer commented requests get made into actual videos on the channel. And lastly, a like and subscribe would be greatly appreciated as it helps to support the channel. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys next time.